Hello guys, welcome back to the video. Today we are reacting to Film Theory, Dear Sonic, You Suck at Running by the Film Theory. So subscribe, hit that bell, like the video, subscribe to my second channel, click the bell on my second channel, like the videos on my second channel, follow my Twitch, post on my Reddit, follow my Reddit. Be sure to do all of those things right now, because 96.7% of you that are watching this are not subscribed, and that's a very high number of you that are not subscribed. Alright, if every one of you subscribed, I would have about like 4,800 subscribers by now. I would have more subscribers and videos. Alright, that's my goal for 2020, to have more subscribers and videos, because that's really bad if you have less subscribers and videos, unless the guy that uploaded like 1 million videos to YouTube. Yeah, he definitely does have 1 million subscribers, but it will be greatly appreciated if I have more subscribers than videos. Please do that. Also my second channel, also greatly appreciated if I have more subscribers than videos. So in 3, 2, 1, let's react.
Before we get into the meat of this episode, here's a quick mini theory.
Alright.
You know how in February Paramount announced a merchandising deal for the official Sonic shoes with Puma, and how the movie makes
There's official Sonic shoes by Puma? If there would be official Sonic shoes, I wouldn't think that it would be made from Puma. I would think like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, maybe, but not Puma. I would not think Puma as the first choice for them, but alright.
makes you feel all emotional when Sonic replaces his old worn-out shoes with his iconic red pair, brought to him by Puma, not so subtly pushing you to buy a pair of new shoes for yourself. Man, wouldn't it be great if advertisers and movies had to, I don't know, disclose that sort of product placement and content targeting younger viewers just like online content creators have to? Huh. Anyway, inequality and governmental regulations aside, sure, this scene might seem like a shameless bit of product placement, but the reality is that Sonic was actually long overdue for a new pair of pumped up kicks. Most running shoe manufacturers recommend replacing them every 300 to 500 miles, or 483 to 805 kilometers. And
Well, Sonic has ran a lot more than 300 to 500 miles, alright?
according to competitive
He ran around the world. He ran around the Pacific Ocean, I'm pretty sure.
runners and coaches, it's rare to get more than 1,200 miles, or 1,930 kilometers, out of a solid pair of shoes before they start to fall apart. Now, I bring that up because in our last episode, we calculated that the Blue Blur ran 1,100 miles in that sprint to the Pacific Ocean and back. That, plus the extra miles that he puts on when fighting Robotnik, means that he is well overdue for a replacement pair by the time that they reach San Francisco. And that's assuming he was starting the road trip with a fresh pair of shoes to begin with. So hey, maybe it wasn't just a shameless plug for shoes, maybe it was just the movie trying to be factually accurate, and a shameless plug for shoes. Hello
Film
internet,
theory.
welcome to
I always have like better, you know, this. I always have like different intros like this that's related to the actual thing, which is pretty good.
Film Theory, the show that, ironically enough, has done more
This is not Austin, because this is the Austin format. You suck at running. This is not Austin. This is Matt Pat, just the beginning of the video, and Austin's gonna be the rest. But this is a Matt Pat video, not an Austin video. How did that happen with this kind of format of videos, of video title, I should say.
more Sonic videos in the last year than our sister channel, Game Theory. Seriously, between doing Sonic videos over here on Film Theory and Marvel Strike Force videos over on Game Theory, it feels like the lines separating these channels are just getting blurrier by the day.
Yeah.
So, to say that the Sonic movie was
Alright.
better than expected was an understatement. Sure, it probably won't be winning any awards, or heck, who knows at this point. Maybe it will, considering the number of movies with delays or canceled release dates at this point. So heck, it could win some awards just by default. Oscar Best Picture winner for 2020, Sonic the Hedgehog.
I mean, no. Oscar's Best Picture? Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, if they didn't change it, they wouldn't even have a nomination, alright? If they didn't change the way Sonic looks like, they wouldn't even have been nominated at all. Like they would be the worst in like best picture in the Oscars because who would nominate them if they didn't change Sonic's face. Sonic's what Sonic looks like. If they didn't change what Sonic looks like, they would not even come close to Oscar's Best Picture.
Anyway, with it coming out for an early digital release this week, I wanted to talk about it one last time, because maybe it was just me, but didn't you think it was weird the way that Sonic's shoes had holes in them? Not them having holes. Obviously, that's perfectly normal. No, what struck me as odd was where the holes were in the shoes. I don't know about you, but every time I've ever worn through a pair of shoes, it's always been in the heel. And yet,
yeah, it's always been in the heel, but not the front of the shoe. That's very, very interesting that the hole is in the front of the shoe, not the heel, because anyone that has had a broken shoe knows that the hole is somewhere in the heel part, but not in the front.
and a huge plot point in the Sonic movie is that he has holes in the toes of his shoes.
What is this?
Fastest thing alive actually be faster if he chose to run in a more efficient way. For any other character, we could probably start.
Wait. I don't know why, but like 30 seconds of the video was just cut out. I don't know what happened there, but alright, let's get into it. And I haven't not reacted to the 30 seconds because 30 seconds of that is I can't load it in, so
efficient
yeah,
way.
gonna have
For
to
any
do
other
this.
character, we could
Alright.
probably start by looking at his running animation and not have to resort to this kind of observation to get a feel for how they run, but Sonic moves so fast that a 24 frames per second movie ain't gonna be enough for us to capture his full run cycle. I mean, depending on what frame you're looking at here, it looks like Sonic's either heel striking or forefoot striking.
Yeah, you don't know.
Let me explain what I mean by that. In the world of running, there are several schools of thought about the proper way to run. When you run, you can either forefoot strike, landing with the front of your foot hitting the ground first, or you can heel strike, landing with your heel hitting the ground first.
Does that mean that Sonic does 4-foot strike? Because if I run, it's always heel strike. I mean, normally people, when they think of running, they heel strike. Heel first and then the 4-foot comes after. So, when that observation was really is 4-foot striking, I've never seen anyone do 4-foot striking before because it's always so natural that you do the heel striking. I don't know.
The fact that Sonic's shoes are completely worn through in the toe is highly indicative of the forefoot striking or toe running approach. And you see, that's interesting because that's actually not the method favored by elite competitive runners. Runners who compete to win in marathons mostly prefer the heel striking method.
That's more natural because if you haven't done running before, you always gonna have to do what you do when you're walking. The same thing you do with walking is what you do with running. But yeah, there's actually a thing called 4-foot striking. Who does that? Do you do that? Do that in comments below. Actually, somewhere here, I'm gonna add it. Somewhere here, it's a poll. Do you heel strike or 4-foot strike? Do that. Somewhere poll like here. I'm pretty sure.
One of the main reasons for that is that running shoes have a heel that is specifically designed for that sort of approach. For instance, take a look at the Nike Vaporfly shoe. You see immediately that the heel part is much thicker, and when resting flat, the toe doesn't even touch the ground. You'd be running with a pretty awkward gait if you tried to land toe first on these sorts of shoes. Looking at that clip again, notice how the runner's heel actually extends out at first, as if it's about to hit the ground, before the runner pulls back and strikes heel first. Simply put, elite runners heel strike because that's what the best running shoes are currently designed for. These kinds of running shoes improve a runner's speed by packing the heel with foam that gives the heel a bit of a bounce, allowing the runner to rebound off the ground better. It's the exact same idea behind the Air Jordans that literally have an air pocket in the heel.
Yeah. Alright.
Much like an inflated basketball will bounce better than a flat one, a running shoe heel made of the right materials will give a runner better bounce than if they were running with a flat shoe. Lately,
How many shoes actually have foam in the forefoot, not in the heel? Probably like just like 2 shoes out in there in the market, because no one does that. No one ever does that. I have extended 4 minutes, actually 4 minutes and 18 seconds, just 30 seconds to cut out. 4 minutes and 18 seconds to 10 minutes now. How have I managed to do that for me just rambling? Do you like longer videos?
the idea of having air pockets or foam padding in the heels of shoes has gone to extreme levels. Those Nike Vaporfly shoes that I showed you are built with a special Zoom X extra thick foam cushioning, which, according to Nike's calculations, makes runners 4% more efficient. Now, 4% might not seem like that big of a deal, but if you're an elite competitor trying to set a world record, that sort of extra efficiency might be enough to shave seconds, or heck, even minutes off of a marathon record time. And you know what? That's exactly what it's managed to do. In fact, that 4% has caused the Vaporfly shoes to dominate the competitive running world. In May of 2017, Olympic runner Eliud Kipchoge ran a marathon using the Vaporfly shoes and set a record of 2 hours, 1 minute, and 39 seconds, beating the previous world record by a whopping 1 minute and 18 seconds. That might not sound...
Yeah, that might not sound much, but it's a lot in the running world. It's a lot, because you got to continuously run for 118 seconds. That's a lot of time in the running world, alright?
Sound like all that much, but when you're talking about marathon running times, that is a huge difference from the previous record. In 2019, though, he broke the record again, this time running the marathon in under 2 hours. His time, 1:59:40. And real quick, can we actually take a moment to recognize how impressive a real live human being running a 26.22-mile marathon in 2 hours is? I mean, that is the equivalent of running a mile in 4 minutes and 34 seconds, and then keeping that pace up for an entire 2 hours. Most of us...
He's not getting exhausted, is he? Because you got to have some guts to actually do that, because he doesn't get exhausted. Doesn't seem like he gets exhausted, actually.
Can't even run a single mile, or heck, even a single lap at that sort of pace. I mean, I know there's that old saying, it's a marathon, not a sprint, but it almost feels like these people are just straight up sprinting non-stop for 2 hours.
Yeah. It's crazy. Because... yeah, it's really crazy.
It's the sort of performance that would make our buddy Sonic proud. But again, he did it wearing those Vaporfly shoes, which has led the entire sports world to ask, is it the shoes? That sounds like it's a joke or a line from an old Nike commercial, and well...
is it the shoes? It's gotta be the shoes!
It is a line from an old Nike commercial, but it's also a very real question that...
Nike should probably sponsor the guy. Just give him a lot of Vaporfly shoes, because... he's got some world records, some crazy world records that probably none of us that are watching this video could ever beat, could ever actually do.
It's happening in the sports world right now, which has caused the Vaporfly line and the world record marathon time that Eliud Kipchoge set while wearing them to become the center of controversy. According to sports science journalist Alex Hutchinson on Vox's Recode podcast, which, if you haven't listened to, is actually really fascinating.
The 5 fastest men's marathons in history have all been run in the last 13 months, all by runners wearing Vaporflies. If they don't act soon, it's going to be too late, because the world records are going to keep dropping, and then they're going to be in a situation where if they try and restrict it, it's like, oh, well then all the times in the last 5 years or whatever have been run on quote-unquote illegal shoes.
Maybe Nike's fears of this sort of controversy are exactly the reason that when they...
yeah, it's probably why they don't sponsor these people. Or do they sponsor these people? Does Usain Bolt get sponsored by Nike? I don't know. I really don't.
They first started testing the Vaporfly prototype out in real competitions back in 2016, they actually disguised them to look like other types of running shoes. No joke, they were undercover shoes for the first year of their existence. Again, from Alex Hutchinson during that same podcast.
Once Nike had these prototypes and they were pretty sure that they worked, they started giving out these disguised prototypes that were disguised to look like other shoes. And then at the Olympics in Rio in 2016, the top 3 finishers in the men's marathon were all wearing these disguised prototypes prototypes of a shoe that no one had ever heard of. And the winner of the women's marathon was also wearing a disguised prototype of these shoes.
Seriously, how wild is it that people are setting world records with some kind of futuristic Zoom X Super Foam running shoes that people are talking about banning the shoe for being too good, and that the shoe company is actually having to disguise the shoe prototypes to secretly sneak them into competitions? The point of all of this is that yes, the shoes do matter, and what the shoes are built for is heel striking to give yourself that little...
Yeah, but has there ever been a marathon runner that has ever toe striked in the entire existence of marathons or the Olympics? In the entire existence of marathons, is there any one runner that has done the toe strike? Or has there ever been a winner of a marathon that's ever done a toe strike? Most likely not. Who do you know that does actually toe strike? It's just a very little amount of people. It's just, who actually does that? I do not know.
Bit of extra bounce with each step. If Sonic is forefoot striking or toe running like we see him do, he seems to be giving up a huge advantage. So does that mean that Sonic is actually running incorrectly? Well, not necessarily. You see, all of this comes from the world of competitive running, where people are trying to shave a few seconds off their world record time, and that 4% of extra efficiency matters. But there are some runners who espouse a completely different viewpoint. The idea that forefoot striking is actually a better, healthier, and more natural way to run. It's a big part of what drives the push towards barefoot running that's gained so much momentum over the last couple years. People who either choose to run completely barefoot or run in shoes with flat soles and no padded heels specifically designed to simulate a barefoot running feel. A study in the Journal of Applied Physiology examined the force exerted by people running barefoot.
So people actually do that. I'm surprised that people actually do that, just saying.
On a treadmill, and found that, when landing on their toes, a graph of the force experienced by the runner's body was a smooth curve. But when heel striking, there was this big spike in the force curve. That spike is not only an unexpected jolt to your body each and every time that you land, a potential cause for injury, but it also interrupts the natural smoothness of the runner. The bounce of the heel striking the ground and the force of the runner pushing off the ground happen at slightly different times, throwing off the actual running motion of the body. For a human runner, odds are they're not going to notice the difference. But given Sonic's incredible levels of acceleration, he's exerting a lot more force than a normal human runner would. Just some quick back-of-the-napkin calculations here, but reusing some of our numbers from the previous episode, during Sonic's run to the Pacific Ocean, he accelerates at a rate of 491.7 meters per second squared. And if we go with his canonical weight of 35 kilograms, or 77 pounds, that means that he's exerting 17,000...
What is this? There's been a lot of problems. This was of...
Wait, that's this is the idea. It appears that Sonic rely on the... Sonic would rather...
So 17,209 newtons. Alright, there's a lot of problems here. I don't know why there's a lot of problems. It's a mystery.
Times more force than a typical runner. And considering that fact, it makes it obvious why Sonic would
20 times more force than a typical runner is 17,209 newtons. Wow.
Rather run on his toes and rely on the power of his own legs instead of striking with his heels and feeling that extra bit of jolt every single time his foot lands. So is Sonic running incorrectly? Well, for as weird as the toe holes seem to me, no. It appears that Sonic is running in the easiest, most natural, organic way that a two-legged...
Really? Forefoot striking is the most natural way of running. I never thought that people actually do that coming into this video. And I never actually thought about it, but how? How do people actually do that? It's the most natural way of running. Easiest, most natural, organic way of running. Well, I've learned something from this episode of of film theory.
Humanoid can run. Nike, you may not like the fact that I'm broadcasting this message out to the world, but this is the ideal running form. At least if you're a Mobian who's capable of pushing the ground with over 3,800 pounds of force every time you take a step. As far as us humans, though, keep bouncing off your foam pads, my friends. Or don't, since, you know, you're supposed to be indoors right now, so
Yeah,
just...
you're supposed to be indoors. Like me, like you probably, like Matt, Pat, like every single person, most likely, in the world. I mean, most of the people right now are inside their houses or inside a building. It's just inside their house. Stay at home, wash your hands, and like, how many? Wash your hands properly. Don't look at how to base this video to wash your hands, because that's definitely not how to wash your hands. Throwing eggs at a mirror is not how you wash your hands, alright? Just actually wash your hands like a normal person, not like how to basic. Don't throw eggs at your mirror and your sink. Yeah.
watch the Sonic movie again, hashtag with me, because what else is there to do at this point? Play Doom Eternal, I suppose? Anyway, that's
I mean, right now I've been playing Fortnite. Yeah, I've been playing Fortnite because I don't know what to do.
just a theory. A game theory. Nope, it isn't. It's a film theory. Thanks for watching.
Oh, that's the first time? Is that mistake? Was that mistake, is that mistake, like, actually on purpose? If that mistake was not purpose, that's first time in theory.
Also, can I just say how weird it is that the toes of his shoes wore away, but they show the heel of his sock, and that one just so happens to be worn away? I just think it means that socks need to be stronger all around.
What's this? Why is it in a washing machine? That is treadmill? Sonic's treadmill is a washing machine. Wow. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. There are a lot of problems here. Subscribe, hit that bell, like the video. Subscribe to my second channel, link down in the description below. Like the videos on my second channel, click the bell on my second channel. Link down below is my Twitch. Follow my Twitch. Link down below is my Reddit. Follow my Reddit. Post on my Reddit. So yeah, guys, just watch it. And of course, peace out, people that have peace. Peace.